Last month, our content agency did a little over 135K and learned some really good things. Wanted to share with you in this video. Hopefully, make your business more money, more profitable, and ultimately just a better business owner. So, enjoy this video. First takeaway, so important, is learning to run ads for your clients. If you're already doing organic content, which if you're running a content agency, I'm assuming you are, you should be running ads for your clients, without a doubt. If you're getting results organically, you can reuse most of these same angles just for ads. And not only are you going to be able to get your clients better results, but you're also going to be able to get paid more, right? This is kind of like a win-win situation, especially because you don't even need to tack on an extra retainer. You don't have to charge the client a greater fixed amount. You just be like, yeah, we'll take a performance fee on the profit after ad spend, but other than that, we're not charging you extra. And what this does is it sets you up in a really good frame with the client. You're set up to collect upside rather than just a fixed retainer. So, let's say the client makes an extra 150K in sales from ads. You spend 50K on ads, you deduct the ad spend and maybe like closer setter fees. Like you're walking away with like another, 60 to 70 grand in profit from that deal, right? Just hypothetical numbers. But point is you are incentivized to, continue scaling, making better creatives, and you're actually getting a piece of the pie. And this is a win-win from the client's perspective because when they're setting up with you, they're not paying a fixed amount. You might have to renegotiate like profit share, rev share terms after a while, but it's a great way to collect upside from the client without charging them an extra fixed amount, especially if they're just starting out and they haven't really scaled to that point yet. This is also really important because organic isn't always reliable. I talk about how great YouTube is. I talk about the kind of results we get our clients just organically, but it fluctuates, right? Some months may be slower. The views may be down. You may just have like a lower call volume than usual. With ads, you can just crank up the spend. So if you have profitable creatives, they work, all you have to do is increase spend to hit, certain call quotas or call KPIs with your clients, and you can get back to that point that's comfortable for them. Like we had a client that actually just discontinued with us for YouTube or wanted to discontinue YouTube, but we retained them for ads because the creatives are profitable and we're running ads profitably for them right now. So we're able to at least retain some upside in that relationship rather than having to like drop them completely or lose all the revenue from that deal. We're still collecting performance on ads and still running their ads. So it's a great way to get your clients better results, create more upside for yourself, and more importantly, just better retention and stickiness with your clients in general. So this is definitely, I put this at number one, there's no particular order, but I do think this is one of the most important things. Number two, using AI in the creative process. Everyone talks about this. It's a huge buzzword right now. Let me explain exactly what I mean by this though. One of our best performing ads, in fact, our best performing ads for one of our clients right now is a complete deepfake. Like it is completely made with AI. Even the video itself was generated with AI because we had pre-existing footage we could use as a base. This is crazy because I actually didn't think this would be like happening so soon. I really didn't think that the deepfakes would work. I didn't think people would believe them. I thought people would catch on very quickly. One of our clients sells to a very older demographic, like 40 to 60 I'm talking about, and it's crushing right now. And to the untrained eye, kind of hard to tell. Like somebody that does video, I can tell, but to the untrained eye, it's really hard. It's only getting better. If you're not taking advantage of this right now, you are behind the curve. Like it's moving fast and you need to get on this. Especially important because this also allows you to cut costs. This allows you to be more profitable because you don't need to pay somebody every time you need a creative. You don't need to go travel yourself. This saves a lot on travel, paying videographers, renting out studios, and you're able to test creatives 10 times faster, which in turn helps you get your clients better results, makes you more money in the process. Needs to be learning this ASAP. This is something we teach people. So going to be a link down in the description if you're interested in learning more about that on top of, the other stuff we talked about in this video. But this is something that I would look into if you're not using already because it's not just one of those fads. Like it actually does work. We have the data to suggest that this is really the way things are headed right now. And just in the process of like general, script writing and ideation, Claude is really, really good. I moved over to Claude recently. It is going to save you a lot of time on scripting and ideation. It's really helped me. I wrote scripts manually myself for about a year before I touched any AI, and I was very skeptical of it, but it's working very well for me because I have a lot of past scripts that I've written manually. And so that gives me a benchmark of to like what's actually good, what's good copy, what's not a good script, etc. And what's really important, I'm not going to make a whole like Claude rant here, but one thing that's really helpful is whenever you give the AI feedback, like you're chiefing it and you're editing the copy from it, make sure you feed it back and tell them, hey, these are the changes I made to the script you gave me. Here's why. This is really important so that the model continues to get better, rather than you just like making the changes and letting it continue to output that bad result. Make sure you're actually telling it what corrections you're making and feeding it back, because the entire point of the model is to get more efficient over time. So the fact that, instead of like maybe editing like 30%, as you continue to train it, now you're editing like 5 to 10% of it, because it just understands it more and it's getting more and more efficient. That's the entire point. We use this as we train it to be more efficient over time. And the nuance here, slop's always going to be slop. So if you don't have the fundamentals down, you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to be left with a larger quantity of slop. So really get those scripts manually done. Put in the reps. When I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. The client just said, hey, we want YouTube. I wrote a YouTube script, not knowing what I was doing, and I refined my process over time. There's no like magic software that's going to make you good at this. Anyone that says that is probably just showing you an affiliate link. So please master the fundamentals before you focus on this. Number 3 is going to be systems. I use this a lot as well. I have a whole video on systems. Go watch that if you want the details and the exact nuances of how we do that. But if you're traveling and you're not at your desk all the time, this is your best fail-safe. In August, I was catching a plane every 5 to 7 days. Went to San Francisco with my girlfriend for a week. Wasn't really working much and was only working a few hours a day. Mind you, this is the same month we did over 135K. And my business partner was also in Europe on a completely different time zone, enjoying pizza and pasta, vlogging, etc. And the reason this was able to happen, we batched a lot of content with clients in advance, like 1 and 2 months. We were way ahead on the content, so we could kind of just hold it down. And got to give a huge shout out to our head of operations, Will, who he is responsible for hiring. He is responsible for reviewing videos, quality checking thumbnails, videos, and also keeping consistent upload schedule with all of our clients. So he was holding it down this entire time, and we were able to keep the business running and get things done. It's not rocket science. It takes a lot of time to set up. I will say it's not easy. We had to go through a lot of bad hires, but once you crack it, there's no going back to whatever, I guess, crucible you're in right now of doing everything yourself and basically just being like a glorified freelancer, working a bunch of different content jobs, because most of you are working content jobs. You're not actually running a content agency. It's really important to make that discernment and be honest with yourself about how much you're actually working in relation to what you're making. So keep this in mind. If you plan to travel, if you want to have a life, you really need to prioritize this. I have a whole other video explaining how we do this, how it's set up in our agency, so you can go watch that. It's going to be linked somewhere above. But again, this was really important in the month of August specifically. And then point number 4, and this is going to be a talking point for future videos as well, is follow ads for client acquisition. We started testing this with a small group of students, and I am 100% certain this is going to be the new meta for getting clients for your content agency next 6 to 12 months. A lot of people in other industries have already adopted this, but it's especially working well for our students right now. Previously, we were talking about, going and reaching out to local businesses, walking in. This is great when you're at 0. But what happens when you're already at like 8 to 10K a month? You don't really have that time anymore. You're fulfilling for clients. You're working on their stuff. It's just not the most efficient form of outreach. And so Paul was actually at like 8 to 12K a month when we brought him on. And he just texted this in our group chat. He's about to hit 10K in a week from this new strategy. And all it is you're running follow ads to local businesses in your area with very specific targeting, using organic to go and nurture them. And you are now doing warm outbound instead of cold outbound, because these people are actually following you, so you don't have to deal with the variable of these messages going into the requests. And you can just be kind of like a sniper rather than going into a bunch of local businesses. Now you can be a sniper, be very selective, be very efficient with your time, and get high ticket, high paying clients. This is something we're going to start running for ourselves soon, but just based off this initial experiment with this small group of students, this is working extremely well, and they're only spending, maybe $20 to $30 a day max. So this does work. I expect to see more people talk about it soon, and I just think it's a no-brainer right now if you are already kind of off the ground or even just getting started. I think this is a great new way to get clients that doesn't involve as much of your time and is a more leveraged form of outreach, especially if you have client results. You can leverage those in your ads, in your content, and just build a lot of authority that way. Finally, last thing I want to talk to you guys about is our paid coaching. We are reopening spots once again. Anyone who pays us gets great results. That's not a guarantee, but yeah, anyone that actually goes and implements what we talk about and what we go over on our calls is going to have a better business. We got Ryan over here hitting the 50K month. We got Colby coming up on 70K months here. We got newer guys, signing their first retainers, signing their first rev share deals. We got Johnny and AKM retainers after pretty much starting from zero. Our stuff works, and we will make sure and see it through that you get results. So if you want to learn from myself and my business partner, Cam, you can click the link in the description down below to book a call and see if this is a good fit for you. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you in the next one.